College was a blast. Man, I had a great time. As an undergrad at UCLA, hanging around Westwood with my friends. But I wasn't happy. Deep down inside, I wasn't feeling satisfied. Then I found my turning point. Sir, is this Ramadan Academy? Are you still accepting applicants? Can I still enroll? Today's the last day. What time do I have to be there to sign up? Right now, I'm on my way.
Every time.
Where am I going? Where have I been? The month of Ramadan is here again? I'm not focused. I'm not committed.
You're so alone. All you see is night and darkness all around. You feel so helpless. You can't see which way to go. Don't despair and never lose hope.
A season of change. I can't let another one pass me by. What's that Ramadan International Academy sign? I found my way. I'm on the way. I can't miss another day. I can't miss another night.
You can't repent and that it's way too late. You're so confused. Wrong decisions you have made haunt your mind and your heart is full of shame. But don't.
The school of Ramadan is the school of life. So don't let another one pass you by.
'Cause Allah is always by your side. Inshallah, inshallah, inshallah.
I want to experience Ramadan. I want to live it.
Inshallah, 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 you'll find your way.
Assalamu alaikum, Professor.
Wa alaikum salam.
Wallahi, I'm sorry I'm late. I just found out about Ramadan Academy, and I really want to join.
You came at the last minute. Go register your name and prepare for Ramadan Academy.
Really? All I have to do is register my name? I'm going to go do it right now, Professor.
Turn to Allah, He's never far away. Put your trust in Him, raise your hands and pray. Ooh, ya Allah, guide my steps, don't let me go astray. You're the only one who can show me the way. Show me the way.
Confirm.
Show me the way. Show me the way. You feel like you cannot go on. You feel so lost and that you're so alone. All you see is night and darkness all around. You feel so helpless, you can't see which way to go. Don't despair and never lose hope. 'Cause Allah is always by your side. Inshallah, inshallah, inshallah. While watching the new moon sighting, it felt like a good enlightening. This day is so bright as the first Tarawih is tonight. With family around a nice meal, we're making dua and I feel how nice it is to be so near to those I love.
I remember, subhanAllah, because I began my fast in LA. I was in Los Angeles at the time. And my suhoor, sometimes I would miss it by mistake. And then you would have a hard day. But I got used to it if I missed it sometimes. But when I would take the suhoor, I remember feeling that barakah that the Prophet ﷺ spoke about. You know, feeling much better when you get that suhoor. When my mother would prepare my suhoor, it was amazing. because she's a non-Muslim. And when she would prepare it for me, sometimes she would make oatmeal or eggs, a nice big breakfast for me. So this was pretty nice, you know, that my mother was actually assisting me with my fast, and she wasn't even a Muslim. And this was very comforting. And that was a nice, it was a good feeling.
We'll try to hold on and make it better every day.
So alhamdulillah, your wife and children are Muslims, of course, but your mother and father, of course, you accepted Islam, so they're not Muslims. So how was Suhoor living with your parents?
It was very hard because obviously you wake up very early in the morning. And I remember my mother once, you know, I woke up to eat the Suhoor in Ramadan. I think straight after I became Muslim, there was a huge conflict in the house.
Of course, yeah.
And she came out of her room maybe 3 o'clock in the morning. What are you doing? You know, I'm eating because I'm fasting. She said, I don't care, I'm not Muslim, so why do you wake us up? And she was always saying, do you get money in the masjid to you know, because they don't understand, how can you wake up that early?
Right.
How can you make so much efforts, you know?
Right.
How can you, undergo, you know, starvation and make yourself hungry for no money?
Right.
So she thought there was a financial interest in that.
Right.
She said they probably give you money in the masjid.
Right.
Say no.
Yep.
And I remember, subhanAllah, one of my first Ramadan day, there was like a big argument in my house just because of that, because of the Suhoor.
About the Suhoor, subhanallah, I do not even know where to start from. It is such a nice time. And I remember when my grandmother was alive, it used to take her at least half an hour to wake, especially myself, up, because Suhoor is so early, you know. And the old people, you know, they like waking up very early. So Suhoor by us would start from about, say, 3 o'clock in the morning, because the Fajr Adhan would go around 4:30, 4:15, you know, 4:45. So the old people would like to wake up very early, and that smell that you get when you're sleeping in the morning and you just smell those eggs and the preparation for Suhoor, and that, subhanallah, you know, that also incites you to wake up, and you find that you are very tired initially, but after you. And this is another thing that you can really see, that to wake up early, the difficult part is just to get off from the bed.
We know from the hadith that the Prophet ﷺ used to delay his Suhoor. He was fast to break fast, and he was late to have his Suhoor, which is of course the morning meal before Fajr, before the Adhan is called. And the Prophet ﷺ would leave it until the last minutes. And there is wisdom in that the Prophet ﷺ would do that. And that is to help you to be energetic throughout the day, and also that it was a time that you would spend a lot of the night praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it brings you together, the Suhoor and the breakfast always brings you together, whether it's as a family or as brothers in itikaf or whatever it might be, that you come together and eat. And you've asked me about my family, and we try to eat quite healthy in Ramadan. We try to eat fruits and cereals because we come from a land where we eat cereals. Sometimes we might eat some beans or things like this, but not something too heavy.
I remember you find your mother or my sister or whoever would be standing, making sure that everybody has something to eat. So you see almost as وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْثِرُونَ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ. That is what you see at the time of Suhoor. You know, everybody is worried about the next person. So it brings a bond in the family. The time of Suhoor brings that bond, that you see people preferring each other over each other.
Attaining paradise is our goal. We'll continue to obey you and make the best of life. Ya Allah, help us to remain in the Ramadan spirit again, maintaining our intentions pure and sincere.
my name is Ramadan Pulse. Currently live in London, originally from Somalia, and I was born Muslim, alhamdulillah.
Okay, that sounds great. Now we're talking about suhoor. Tell us about what you eat suhoor, the food specifically. Are you guys having a traditional Somali suhoor or more of a UK British suhoor?
Sometimes it's Somali, it's just injera or lahore, but usually it's Weetabix, cornflakes, porridge, stuff like that.
Okay, so what about who are you eating suhoor with? With your mother, your father, your wife? Do you have a family suhoor all together?
Sometimes it's with family, other times it depends if you've got work or not, or if it's the weekend and everyone gets up. So it depends on the time of day.
Yeah, of course. So who is responsible for waking up all your siblings or your parents? Do you do that, or who wakes everybody up?
Usually myself and my mother go and knock everyone's door to get them up.
Okay, so now you set the alarm on your mobile phone 15 minutes before Fajr, or do you set it like an hour before Fajr?
I usually set it about an hour, so get up, put the TV on, watch Islam channel for a bit. Usually have programs related to Ramadan, and then just wait for Fajr Salah.
Okay. Now, do you like to eat a lot of food, or do you have a light suhoor, and why?
Depends again of the day ahead. If I've got a busy day, then I tend to just eat quite a bit. If not, then reasonably light.
Okay. How old were you when you began fasting your first Ramadan?
Oh, I can't remember.
Official, when your father said to you, okay, now you have to fast a full month.
I think it was maybe, maybe 10, around 10, 11, yeah.
Oh, okay, so mashallah, you've had many Ramadans now. Okay, great. Also, back to suhoor. We mentioned what type of food you are eating. Why wake up drinks, drinks. What type of drinks do you like to drink before suhoor, for suhoor?
For suhoor, water and milk, yeah.
A lot?
Depends again, if I'm going to need it the next day.
What's more important for you, the food or the water?
I think definitely the water.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. The liquid. You have to stay hydrated for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, now you're living in the UK. It's a Western country. So, of course, the working hours aren't balanced for you. So how do you balance between ibadah, work, school perhaps, family life, and how do you do all that? How do you balance that?
They're really good in the UK. I mean, you tell them you're fasting, they're like, oh, you know, they are really interested in why you're fasting and ask questions. They'll make provisions for you. They'll give you time to break the fast, they'll give you time to pray.
Oh, okay.
So they do make provisions for you, depending on who you're working for.
Okay, great. And you said you work as a...
I'm a science teacher.
So how does that work? You're fasting all day, and you're out of work before the Maghrib Adhan, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's...
it's pretty good. So, well, in the summer, when it's pretty close, I usually stay in school and break the fast there.
Okay, do you break your fast with any Muslim students, or do you have Muslim students that you break fast with?
We have quite a bit, but this is a new school I'm at, so Ramadan's coming up, inshallah, so we'll see. It's probably about 70% Muslim in this school.
Oh,
so
wonderful.
we should be able to do communal breaking fast.
But the working hours aren't, they're not reduced in Ramadan in the UK. The working hours itself.
Oh, they're exactly the same. So
Okay.
they don't reduce during Ramadan time.
While fasting, do you feel that it has a positive effect on your work or negative effect? I mean, is it harder to work while fasting, or is it easier?
I think it's, I don't think it makes much difference because you kind of forget, because when you're really busy, the hunger, you don't really remember the hunger. So, I mean, yeah, depends what you're working at as well.
Okay, great, good point. Perhaps we can close this interview, perhaps you can give a word, Ramadan greeting or Eid greeting to the Muslims in the UK or around the world, or your family as well.
Yes, Ramadan Mubarak. Hope inshallah this will be a blessed Ramadan and Allah accepts the fasting for all of us. I mean.
Now, with regards to your personal life, your family, how early do you wake up before suhoor to eat? Who do you eat with your wife, with your parents? Go ahead.
With my normally eat with my wife or with the children, but something I'll do on my own.
So how early do you wake up the kids?
About an hour before I get up.
Okay, why?
Just to prepare myself, because it's that mental preparation.
Yeah, of course, okay.
Inshallah, you'll find your way.
خذ من أموالهم صدقة تطهرهم وتزكيهم بها. Take from their wealth a charity wherewith you will purify themselves from their own greed.
We're calling on you guys at home to contribute and contribute generously to help Put TV spread this message of Islam all around the world.
We'd like to donate 350 Saudi riyal.
Living in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not something that is not, you only get your reward in paradise, but also you get a reward here in this life.
Islam, this is a big chance for you and me, all of us, to gain a big reward tonight here on Huda TV.
I'd like inshallah to donate 5,000 Saudi riyal.
MashaAllah, thank you so much for that contribution.
Islam encourages us to donate for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah, alhamdulillah, I'm fine, thanks. My family and I want to donate $2,000, inshallah.
Allahu Akbar. MashaAllah, tabarakallah.
And how do we prove our iman to Allah? The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he says, وَالصَّدَقَةُ burhan. And donating in the path of Allah, it's proof and evidence. Proof and evidence of what? Of your iman.
If the money's not there, some of these shows will not be produced. It's as simple as that. If you put up your investment in these shows, then when they air, you're getting the reward.
Allahumma ahillahu alayna bil-yumni wal-iman. Insha'Allah, Insha'Allah, Insha'Allah.
There is another thing. In the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, تَصَحَّرُوا فَإِنَّ فِي السُّحُورِ بَرَكَةً. Because our body structure needs nutrition. So if you've been fasting, or if you're going to fast for 15, 16 hours more or less, at least you need to provide your body to continue its metabolism with carbohydrates, with sugar, with protein if possible, whether animal or vegetarian protein, it doesn't matter. So that's why it's very important to eat this meal in order to enable you to function during the day, which you will wake up fasting. When you gather the whole family for an odd time to eat, which is suhoor. Subhanallah, we changed our entire schedule. Why? Because this has become an act of worship. So the meal itself, eating at this time, has become an act of worship.
At the time of suhoor, the food that you eat, you find that it has a lot of blessings in it because it takes you through the whole day, especially at the starting when it is difficult because you have eaten something.
Barakah means increase. So when there is barakah in something, that means there is an increase of reward, an increase of goodness in this thing. And as-suhoor comes from the word as-sahar. And as-sahar really, it indicates to a time that's about 20 minutes to 30 minutes before Fajr. This is the time of suhoor. And even if you've just eaten before suhoor or you're not feeling hungry or so on, it is still recommended that you get up and have anything, even if it was one date that you eat before the Fajr time, so that the barakah could be placed in your day. Because the concept of suhoor is not to eat so you can become full, and so that means the energy is released with the day and that you don't get tired and you don't get hungry. That's not the concept of suhoor. The concept of suhoor is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala places the barakah in your day, even if you just had one day, if you were to have suhoor on one day.
Ya Allah, purify our soul. Attaining paradise is our goal. We'll continue to obey you and make the best of life. Ya Allah, help us to remain.
Allahu Akbar. Sami Allahu liman hamida. Allahu Akbar.
How beautiful Islam can be. Thanks to peace and mercy, we can do this easily.
To think back at my first suhoor, I would have to think that it was in the hottest time of the year, the longest period. So it was actually about 2:30 in the morning that we were having suhoor. And, we didn't really have too much. We just have maybe a banana, maybe something light, and drink lots of water, because we knew that the next day, that day would be a very hard day. And we were working because we were living in not a Muslim country. We were living in Australia there at that time. So, in fact, we would have to still go to work, still live a normal life. People were eating around us. People were offering us food, but yet we remain patient for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أوصى بوجبة السحر، والعجيب أنه عليه الصلاة والسلام جعلها فرقا بيننا وبين صيام أهل الكتاب، فهي سمة تميز المسلم، وهي فوق ذلك أجر يثاب عليه ونشاط يقوي بدنه. فما أعظم هذا الدين وما أعظم هذه الشريعة التي جعلت حتى من طعامك عبادة تؤجر عليها وتتميز بها في شعيرة من شعائر الإسلام، تتميز فيها عن فرقة من فرق التي انحرفت عن الطريق الحق.
Whenever we think of Ramadan, all the good things that we need to do and plan, it's not always easy, but we'll do the best we can.
كثيرا ما نسمع عن السحور في شهر رمضان المبارك، ونسمع في الأحاديث التي تلقى في المساجد أن السحور بركة، لكننا أحيانا لا نشتهي الفطور بسبب العشاء المتأخر ونترك هذه البركة. هل علينا إثم في ذلك أم لا؟ وفقكم الله.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه واهتدى بهداه. أما بعد، فلا ريب أن السحور سنة وقربة، لأن الرسول أمر بذلك عليه الصلاة والسلام، قال تسحروا فإن السحور بركة. وقال عليه الصلاة والسلام: فصلنا بين صيامنا وصيام أهل الكتاب أكلة السحر. وكان يتسحر عليه الصلاة والسلام، فالسنة السحور، ولكن ليس بالواجب. من لم يتسحر فلا إثم عليه، لكن ترك السنة، فينبغي أن يتسحر ولو بقليل. ليس من الناس يكون كثيرا، يتسحر ما تيسر، ولو تمرات أو ما تيسر من أنواع الطعام في آخر الليل. فإن لم يتيسر أو لم يشتهي الطعام فشيء من اللبن، وعلى الأقل الماء، يحصل من الماء ما تيسر، ولا يدع السحور. فأكلة السحور فيها بركة وفي خير كثير، ونعون للصائم على أعماله في النهار، فينبغي للصائم أن لا يدع السحور ولو قليلا، لقول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم: تسحروا فإن في السحور بركة. هكذا يقول عليه الصلاة والسلام. وهذه البركة لا ينبغي أن تضيع، بل ينبغي أن يحرص عليها ولو بشيء قليل من الطعام أو من الثمرات أو من اللبن، يستعين بذلك على أعمال النهار الدينية والدنيوية. نعم.
Maintaining our intentions, pure and sincere.
So what type of foods generally are the traditional foods that Muslims in Cameroon eat for suhoor? Talk to us about that.
Yes, thank you, Brother Malik. You see, this is a very vast question. If you want a very vast question, because Cameroon is made up of 243 ethnic groups, and in all these ethnic groups you will find Muslims. So in Cameroon we have predominant food stuff depending on which region that you are, or maybe depending on which ethnic group that you are.
Yeah.
So like for example, I am of the Fulani ethnic group. So suhoor, really people don't take much food during suhoor, rather than the iftar.
Okay.
But what we usually take during suhoor for so many people, they take most often some pancakes that they make out of corn flour.
Right.
Then they take it with maize porridge that I will soon introduce.
Inshallah, yes.
To
I'm looking forward to eating that with
yes,
you.
and then you know, like the House of Fulani culture in Cameroon and the northern culture, people take lot of tea.
Okay.
Because it is that culture is so much Arabized, so they take so much tea. But as far as suhoor, iftar is concerned, then the dishes are diversified, are more diversified than in suhoor, because so many people don't take much food in the morning.
I feel how nice it is to be so near to those I love.
So you prefer a light suhoor as opposed to a heavy suhoor?
Yeah.
Because of that reason. Now the long fasting hours in the UK, is that discouraging, or do you see that as a challenge?
It's a challenge, but you know, subhanAllah, you get through it. You do get through it. In fact, I remember those times in winter, I found that quite difficult as well. And I'll be honest with you, I do find Ramadan difficult, but you get through it. Alhamdulillah.
You've asked me about my family, and we try to eat quite healthy in Ramadan.
Try to have something that would release energy over long periods of time, such as oats and proteins.
He recognizes this is from Allah. And whenever he eats a bite,
whether it's a lot or a little, he says, Allah, Alhamdulillah.
Feel so lost and that you're so alone. All you see is night and darkness all around. You feel so helpless, you can't see which way to go. Don't despair and never lose hope, 'cause Allah is always by your side. Inshallah, inshallah, inshallah.